In his contribution to epistemology, Donald Rumsfeld famously said, "There are known knowns, there are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know, but there are also unknown unknowns, the ones we don't know we don't know." Over the 2 final days of Pesach, Deborah and I had a known unknown. We knew that she had taken a COVID-19 test Erev Chag after a few days of sickness. We know now, with much relief, that she is COVID-19 negative. This is an age of uncertainty. Yet there are certain things that we do know. For these known facts, I have developed a habit, a ritual perhaps even. Before I go to bed, I look at the day's COVID-19 numbers. I stare at the curve to see if it seems to be flattening. I scrutinize the survival rate. And I look at the day's death toll worldwide, in Israel, in the United States, and in Canada. And then I think about the sick and the victims and their families, and I say a little prayer. Despite the tragedy, having information, having some level of knowledge about this thing is, in its own way, at a time of loss of control, empowering. The more we can label, quantify, and track, the more it seems we can manage and ultimately subdue this plague. Understanding is a pathway to self-power. So too do we take control of our lives by staying at home. Isolation allows us to command our own lives and destinies. We also recognize, of course, that there are those who cannot isolate. Medical personnel, essential workers like grocery store clerks who might not pay rent without their next paycheck, and nursing home residents who have little control of their surroundings and the movement of people into and out of their rooms. Surely they live in fear. Even for those of us who can, mostly, avoid the great expanse beyond our own front doors, we too have that which keeps us up at night. For lots of us, it is the unknowns, unknowns, many of which cannot be known. How long will this go on? When can I next hug my grandchildren? Will the normal I'm used to ever return? Tomorrow's Parsha, Shmini, also presents a case of not knowing. Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu, make an offering to God. It is an esh zara asher lo tziva otam, an alien fire that God didn't command. The Torah tells us that a fire comes from God killing them. Moses responds to the cryptic statement, and Aaron, their father, responds in silence. Our sages, not knowing the nature of the offense and the reason for their fiery deaths, make several guesses. Our sages, like us, want to speculate. They want to clarify the reasons for the deaths. They want to know. So they look at the context and the textual clues. They imagine the possibilities. They suggest perhaps Aaron's sons were drunk, or perhaps they came too close to the inner sanctum of the tent of meeting, or perhaps it was because they made an illicit offering, or perhaps the fire that they set to burn their incense came from impure sources. They guess, and they wonder, and they conduct their own investigation, trying to get at something that they will never know. We say about God, leit machshava tesiseh bach. Thought can never uncover your divine essence. So too it is with God's world. There are things that we cannot know. Reading into a verse from Job that asks, "Hachochma me'ayin timatzeh," from where can wisdom be found? The sages understand ma'ayin not as from where, but as from ayin, from nothingness. I think the sages are trying to explain that we must approach the world from a starting point of nothingness. Any knowledge we do have is a bonus. And in that we start from nothing, there are things that we will never know. That is part of the universe, and that is okay. First, we must acknowledge the things that we cannot know, the things that we cannot master. Only then can we take control of our own lives. How will this virus reshape us as a community? How will this affect our relationships? What will life be like when this is over? We can ask, but we cannot answer these questions. The Talmud develops a concept called tinok shenishba, a captured child. In its primary manifestation, this is a child who is captured and raised amongst non-Jews. Such a child, upon returning to the Jewish community, is not liable for his sins because he did not have the knowledge of how to live a life of mitzvot. But the category of tinok shenishba is extended to anyone who didn't have a Jewish education, who enters a world for which he hasn't been trained. No one taught you how to live like this. The seminary didn't offer a course on this type of pastoral or religious leadership work. We are all captive children. We are not liable for our missteps. We are all learning as we go. And the best thing that we can know is that there are pieces of this puzzle which we will never find. Some not now, some never. That's okay. The Jewish philosopher Martin Buber wrote, "All journeys have secret destinations of which the traveler is unaware. Even if I don't know where exactly we are headed, I'm grateful to have all of you as companions." I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, a Shabbat of safety, and a Shabbat of health.